this button, and I've hit the button,
Hmm.
and now it says we are now live. And so if I go to my
It's been saying on air the whole time for me.
really well, it was
Yeah.
ghosts, zombies, and Hamlet haunt the nation.
That's what.
Fuck, there it
That's what.
is. Okay, all right, it's live. We're live on Facebook now. It's
Okay.
this video is going to begin with me going. If I hit this button,
Well, well, I'll see. Yeah, I see it. That's
okay,
good. So I
okay,
can.
you can
It's a little
see
behind, but I can see the layout.
how professional it looks.
Yeah, it looks good. And also, I can see how my color looks a little different.
Yeah, you look a little more like you're coming to us from the 1980s,
Yes.
or maybe it's the
Max
70s.
Max headroom.
Maybe it's the 70s. I'm not sure.
I like this. I like the '70s better.
Yeah, I think it is the 70s.
Hmm.
But at any rate, the first Act One, Scene One of Hamlet.
Yes, where they're walking on
Uh,
the
Act One, Scene One is where Horatio goes to the parapet of Elsinore
parapet. Yeah.
and meets with Bernardo and Marcellus,
Tell us. Yeah.
who because they want to show him the ghost who has appeared on two
Hmm.
previous occasions. So this is the third. This is the third night. The ghost has made two appearances, and they've summoned Horatio because he is a man of learning. And in the Middle Ages, to be a man of learning was to know how to talk to spirits, among other things. But that was really the
Hmm.
one of the central parts of like the ultimate wisdom of like Solomon was the world's wisest man, right? And in the lore of the Middle Ages, Solomon was the world's wisest man, and the central wisdom of Solomon was the ability to summon and control demons. And so, as a sort of would-be wise man like Horatio, he was learned. Like the guards summon him because they think the ghost won't speak to us because we don't know how to talk to spirits.
Hmm.
But Horatio is an educated gentleman, and so part of his education is in how you talk to spirits. And it sounds like a sort of like a random bit of knowledge. You know what I mean? It's it's a random kind of like part of the core curriculum, but it was actually a curriculum which came out of this integrated worldview that integrated all forms of knowledge into a single study
Hmm.
because the world was divinely ordered and everything in it was
Yeah.
divinely ordered. And so all subjects were just facets of the same diamond.
Hmm.
And so and so it wasn't like just a random thing. It's like, well, I've got to take, composition and geometry and talking to spirits and it wasn't just like a random thing. It was that like spirits were part of the divinely ordered world and
Hmm.
to be learned in the Middle Ages was to learn the ways of the divinely ordered world. And so the guards think that Horatio is going to be able to talk to the ghost because they have failed to talk to the ghost, and and the ghost appears again,
Hmm.
and it doesn't speak to Horatio either. and then Horatio says, like they ask him, one of the guards asks him, like, what does it mean? He's like, well, I don't know what it means, but it definitely like bodes poorly for the health of the state
Hmm.
if the dead king, if his spirit is restless. And then he makes a comment about how during before the fall of Rome, all the ghosts of the Roman cemeteries had flooded into the streets in the night before the fall of Rome.
So it's
And
like Halloween,
right, right,
yeah,
right,
or like the apocalypse or something.
right. I was thinking is Halloween. That's why I was opening with this particular
Yeah.
as this sort of like idea about like um, about what does it mean that the that like because people it's like it's become about like costumes, like what costume did you wear, and it's more of like a fashion thing and something for fun, um,
Hmm.
but not the I don't think anybody really has the idea that what they're doing is representing um, the dead returning to walk in the world, and and then the next 2 days, All Souls Day and All Saints Day, are
Yeah.
when the where is like the sort of uh, the dead are then pacified. They come to your house, you give them a tribute, and then they're pacified, and the society is ordered again, and the dead aren't turning in their graves, and they're not wandering around at night, and so the state is in good health.
And that's what's wrong with our situation is that they're all agitated.
Yeah,
Our the spirits, our spirit, our ancestors are all like agitated
well, and
and
they're
can't be
they're they're
pacified.
walking they're walking in the sense of like I was thinking about this. I was thinking about because we've been talking about Candace Owens as Hamlet
Hmm.
and Charlie Kirk as the ghost of Hamlet's father, and and the question of whether she sees the ghost or whether she's mad
Hmm.
is like the fundamental. It's the fundamental question. Whether, and the thing about like for her, it's like Charlie appeared to her in a dream, and he said, something like, "The serpent that stung me now wears my crown." Not exactly, I mean, because of Erica Kirk, but isn't this she's Gertrude in this, uh, and not
Yeah,
Claudius.
right. And Claudius is unknown or unnamed, put it that way.
Yeah, Claudius is like a composite figure of like Netanyahu and Pastor Rob McCoy.
Yeah,
He's like a and
we've got a Kirk and a McCoy in this story as well.
wow, and I guess that makes BB Mr. Spock. Um,
God no.
well, I mean, like this is like for a future episode, but like Spock does represent the he's the Jews. Everyone else on the Enterprise bridge is a recognizable um, minority
Hmm.
in the American system.
Hmm.
You have all those people. You have the people from Africa. You have the people from Southeast Asia.
Asia.
You have the Russian. You, have, you
Hmm.
even
Yeah,
have the Russians. You got the people from the South. You got
the Scottish.
and you got the Scots.
Yeah,
And it has less to do with uh like
in Middle America, as was Kirk, Indiana, or something like
right
that.
Iowa,
Iowa. Yeah.
and it's it has less to do with it has less to do with like it's not global. Like yes, these people from are from around the world, but they're all types of people who are part of the American. They're now American citizens.
Oh, they're also like part of the World War II like theater. You know, the peoples of World War II.
Right, but that's the thing is that World War II established the sort of people groups, and then by the 60s you had integrated all those people groups under the aegis of America. And Spock is represented as like an alien, but he's really the Jews. And the
Hmm.
whole, the Shin,
Yeah.
it's like it's not that I don't think he was thinking, "Oh, I'm playing the Jews here." And so it was just this sort of, like the divine providence working through Gene Roddenberry and the whole production to create the fact that Spock
Well, well,
actually
Spock
uses
came
the
up with
Shin.
that. Spock came up. I mean,
Right.
Leonard Nimoy came up with that,
And
and
he
he remembered it from his from synagogue.
well, and the thing is that he remembered that because I should see that like we've all done this now so much, but like he
Yeah.
was not supposed to look.
Right.
He only saw it because he peeked, and he
Yeah.
saw the rabbi making the sign of the Shin,
Hmm.
um, which is a fascinating thing. And I think Shin might be in in um, the tarot. You know how the Golden Dawn associated all
Oh,
the
sure. It's yeah.
the Hebrew alphabet with the tarot trumps. So there were
Yes, there are 21, 21 characters, Hebrew characters. Yeah.
22.
Aleph, yeah,
Yeah,
is the
the
zero.
Aleph.
Yeah.
Right, and
Yeah, 22.
the fool is Aleph,
Yeah.
and the world is Tav,
Hmm.
and the apocalypse is Shin. And so
Hmm.
like that idea of like that's what the blessing is. It's kind of like that is the, time is the fire in which we burn, and that burning is the apocalypse because it burns away what isn't uh eternal, so that what is eternal is purified and freed of what isn't. And so at any rate, uh, Candace Owens has the dream. Charlie comes to her in the dream, and he says, "The serpent who stung me now wears my crown," or like I was betrayed. Basically, is how she
Yeah.
put it. He says, "I was betrayed," and so the question is whether she's seeing Charlie or whether she's mad, right? And this is like part of what is I feel like the sort of my liberal, and I I'm gonna just okay, my
Hmm.
liberal friends, because I think liberalism is dead. I just, in case anyone's forgotten, um, for reasons that I've come to understand with you might say a laser like focus, which that's another thing I plan to get to. But they like my liberal friends. They don't Charlie Kirk and the whole killing of Charlie Kirk. It it was really like it became about like Jimmy Kimmel and about like how hateful Charlie was, and I don't give a shit and he deserved it. And it's like that's
Hmm.
like the world of what it meant to them was all the world of just those reactions. And I think it's actually like a not only sort of like a psychologically sad place to live,
Hmm.
but it's also just politically ignorant. It's like completely ignorant of really what's happening around Charlie's murder. Completely ignorant, has no idea whatsoever that there's this profound split inside of MAGA and that split isn't just Charlie, but Charlie has turned it up to like 11. There's no way back now. Do you know what I mean? Like there's no way back. Like Candace Owens can never be reconciled to Trump, uh, the sort of neocon pro-Israel Trump.
Right, because she's well, because if she's like Hamlet, um she can't simply let that go.
No,
It's actually important to her. It's more important, I think, than her life, or it's more important, like, probably than her financial stability. It really does seem like she is, because I mean, she's relieved from the need to be um, I guess the like when you equivocate, it's because you know, if you go too far in this way,
mm-hmm.
fighting for the truth in this way, it's good, you're going to be compromised in this other way. This is going to happen, so you always have to like navigate it through this kind of like channel. And she's like, I'm not going to navigate that way. I'm going to just navigate this way,
Mm-hmm.
and things are going to happen to me that I can't, God's going to have to help me through that, because I don't know, I am there's nothing I can do.
Well, it's she is like possessed of such certainty,
Yeah.
and that she believes. I think she stated this belief, and it seems genuine to me that
Hmm.
she believes that the truth will out, the truth of Charlie's murder will out, and it will change the world.
Yeah.
And if the truth that she is like kind of uh kind of in blindness digging toward,
Yeah.
if that actually is the truth, I think that she's right.
Yeah.
I think it would change the world. And it certainly would change the political reality in the United States. And this whole thing is like my liberal friends have they have zero idea that it's even happening. And it's like it doesn't matter at all that it is happening. And for me it's it's fascinating.
It's going to make so many things incomprehensible to them,
Yeah.
because it's like what we were saying about the ghosts. The ghosts will be speaking and they won't
Mm-hmm.
hear him,
Mm-hmm.
and the ghosts will be, you know, poltergeists moving. Like, things will be disturbed and people will be behaving strangely and things will be happening, and they'll have
Mm-hmm.
no explanation for it, because the those ghosts don't exist or don't matter to them.
Mm-hmm.
But the ghost in this case, the truth about, um, you know Charlie basically telling us who killed him, and in the potential, kangaroo court that they're going to put together, for that they're constructing for the narrative,
Well,
like,
it makes it a fascinating thing. It actually it recontextualizes the whole like identity aspect of Tyler Robinson, because and which is what all the sort of like great challenge to free speech, because Jimmy Kimmel was, and from their perspective Jimmy Kimmel was he was they were trying to silence him for speaking the truth. And 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 like and it's funny because if Candace is right, then he was unintentionally speaking the truth because it was an inside job, right? But
Oh
it
yeah.
but it but it wasn't a MAGA person in the way he meant it, right? He
Oh,
meant it
a gun nut or something.
right. He
A
meant
racist gun nut.
right.
Yeah.
He meant it in a as like, oh, this is just a sort of like the MAGA people. They're so irrationally violent that they even are now they're killing each other, and that's like that was a kind of a fairly like dominant perspective at the time, and that's what Heather Cox Richardson the couple days before, in her the most influential sort of liberal intellectual. Um,
Oh yeah. For her, it was sort of like the kind of like the overly online male, white male in their basement with no prospects.
yeah, well, he was a
Uh,
MAGA Groip, the MAGA Groiper thing,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
and that was only the question is whether he was a follower of Donald Trump or Nick Fuentes, and and it was just or like on that spectrum, the spectrum between Donald Trump and Nick Fuentes, it's like where was he on that spectrum, and and that's really where Jimmy Kimmel was speaking out of, and the sort of my friends think, well, then they just tried to silence him for telling this truth, and it's like no, what he said was total bullshit, but it was deeply offensive, and it was because it was untrue and so
I
offensively untrue that that then there was pressure to get rid of him, and
But there
like
was another piece to that. There
uh-huh
was another piece to that, which was his follow up joke, which was pretty funny, I thought, which is catching Trump react to the death of Charlie Kirk by saying he was going to
well, the
basically
ballroom.
the ballroom, talking about the ballroom, and Jimmy Kimmel said something like, "It's he's talking as if like his goldfish died." A 5-year-old talking about his goldfish dying. So like actually, a 5-year-old's goldfish dying, they're going to be bawling their eyes out. But
Right.
I get the yeah.
That was a funny joke, and
It was a funny joke.
it was also like not just funny, but like what the fuck kind of. It was a like what the fuck moment
It
of
was a what the fuck of Trump.
right.
Why was he so clueless?
Why did
I
he?
was like, maybe he didn't hear the question.
Maybe,
Like,
maybe.
yeah,
Yeah,
very strange.
um that's some kind of explanation that otherwise it was like it wasn't just like a funny joke. It was actually like revealing something bizarre. Like,
And maybe that's what I heard is that's why they tried to silence him.
mm, I see. I didn't. I
That's
b-
from my son's perspective.
I see.
It's
But
all
the
the half joke after that. Yeah,
interesting. Well, that's not the joke he apologized for
right.
when he came back. That's not the joke he apologized for. He
He kind of
apologized.
apologized for the joke that maybe he should have apologized for.
He did, but I mean, in his sort of roundabout, like not
Yeah,
quite really acknowledging what he was doing or where it came from, but that
yeah.
was he was apologizing for the first joke. But at any rate, like
Actually, it wasn't even a joke.
well,
Like,
it was that they're trying to do anything but acknowledge that is one of theirs.
right, but that to me didn't even sound like a joke. It just sounded like an argument. It sounded like a position.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure, but it's spoken in a kind of like tone, which is it's delivered as if it's a joke.
Those crazy Republicans, those crazy MAGA.
Right. It's delivered as a sort of like
Yeah,
it's phrased as if it's like humor. But at
yeah.
any rate, that's where the whole like Charlie Kirk thing ended about that, and so I don't think they know that
They should be interested that they should be more interested even from their own perspective because the uh, the shooter
Mm-hmm.
who was, a trans sympathetic shooter,
Mm-hmm.
hating Charlie, did turn is looking like it's a bullshit story. They should love that it's a bullshit story.
They should, but it would take actually sort of getting a larger picture of the world, a picture of the world that doesn't just like reduce all the everyone on the right to some sort of like raving bigot. And if there's no point in listening to raving bigots, and so there's no point in kind of understanding what's happening politically on that side, and so all of that is hidden from
Uh,
view. But I think it's the most interesting thing, and it does, as you say, it changes the whole trans sympathetic shooter thing to to a patsy,
yeah,
which is a fascinating. I mean, like that's what you did with Oswald. Oswald, he was a commie, right?
yeah,
They make him a patsy by having him pass out the hands off Cuba um, leaflets,
yeah.
and then arguing on like local television with
Hmm.
with a Cuban refugee, a person who had left Cuba when Fidel came to power, and so and then he becomes the patsy, the communist, who is exactly the sort of the like that's who the enemy is. It's the communist, and so if Tyler Robinson is a patsy, he was set up to be today's communist,
Hmm.
who is the trans Trantifa. He was Trantifa,
Hmm.
which is I mean it is a compelling story, um, and
I mean, the Trantifa story was compelling.
no, that Trantifa is the Trantifa shooter is
Yeah,
the
it's the
patsy. He's
Patsy
the
story. Yeah,
Oswald.
yeah.
But the thing where I was like intrinsically mistrustful of this whole, like when I first heard, like saw it on Twitter, like from
Hmm.
people sharing clips of Candace Owens saying this, and I was like, and like Ian Carroll, and I'm like, this is fucking crazy. These people are fucking crazy. That was my my first thought when I first heard it, because it seemed like their obsession with Israel
Hmm.
was like distorting their perception, and it seemed so much like it's like everything has, it's like everything has to fit the narrative, and so everything gets distorted, so it becomes another affirmation of the overriding narrative, um until a couple things. One was the sort of
Hmm.
seeing that like Netanyahu kind of claimed Charlie
Yeah,
within minutes after he was dead, after he was
yeah,
officially declared dead. Netanyahu like claimed him,
yeah.
and
And before we even knew who the shooter was, he already said that it was a radical left. You know, hatred. Those who hate Israel
uh-huh.
and hate the right, basically.
And that was like peculiar, and and then and and then all the sort of gun people on
Yeah,
YouTube. That is the thing that is just like where it's like, even if I wasn't prone to sort of Hamlet parallels and being kind of
yeah.
sympathetic to like renditions of Hamlet, um, what's Hamlophilic? Even if I wasn't Hamlophilic, um, the gun thing, the like
Hamalatio. Sorry, this is not for children.
we haven't clicked that actually. That link
Yeah, yeah,
that
no.
was YouTube. It was not for children
It's for
here.
combining Horatio and Hamlet together.
Yes, to perverse effect. But I was saying even if I wasn't inclined in that way, like I simply do not the bullet thing. I don't understand. Like I like and that the fact that like okay that I don't understand it is like I have no experience with guns.
Yeah.
I had a BB gun. It's like I don't very little understanding of how bullets act in bodies and whatnot. But so many people who for whom guns are their lives, like these are the you know like what you might say are gun nuts. Um, which isn't to say they like that's a pejorative that falls into stereotypes, but actually like the gun people who do like the gun channels on YouTube,
Hmm.
they're like super meticulous people. Like
Yeah.
actually being that it's like there's the people who are careless with firearms and then the people who are so serious about them that it makes them really really meticulous because they're dealing with kind of this life and death thing all the time.
Hmm.
and and so they have a high degree of like specific knowledge and experience with it.
Technical knowledge. Yeah.
And the, watching those people and seeing like tests with the supposed bullet and this idea that his body stopped. It's not like a 22 round, like this is a really significantly large bullet
Hmm.
which should have kind of like basically
Takes.
blown his head off,
Yeah.
like torn his neck apart completely. And the idea that it's like no, actually it was the spine, the bullets in his spine were so strong that they stopped this bullet. And to see all these like extremely experienced gun people be like that doesn't make any sense, and then doing all the test shooting and doing this like all this but none of the other stories like really make sense either. I don't know anything and anything about it, but that combination of the sort of the way Netanyahu like claimed Charlie immediately, and the fact that the it's such an anomalous behavior for that round in a human body.
Hmm.
It's so anomalous that it's like it's virtually impossible that
Hmm.
bullet did that just little damage. It's virtually impossible. And so that combination of those two things, and then the fact that like the Israel question is a fundamental existential threat to the current order of the Republican Party, not just to and to Israel, and to like support, because the Israel has already lost the Democrats.
Right.
and and
All it
and
took was for them to lose the election.
for the Democrats to lose the election.
Yeah. Once
Yeah,
the Democrats lost the election, the voters didn't have to play along.
true.
Yeah.
And it exposed just how much anti-Israel sentiment,
Yeah.
how because you have things like you have things like trans, which on the radical left side you have widespread acceptance, and then as you
Hmm.
move toward the center still on the left,
Hmm.
the percentage of acceptance becomes um, much less affirmative and far more performative.
Hmm.
It's like there's a whole bunch of people who are just performing acceptance, and
Hmm.
part of their performance of acceptance is a sense of moral compulsion, and part of it is a sense of political compulsion. And part of the performance of acceptance for Israel was like political compulsion.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when they lost, that compulsion was gone. And
Yeah. It's
so
already over. So it's already lost.
that left like just the neocons and sort of part of MAGA, but it's a fundamental, as much as like Epstein is another sort of another crack in the same vein, but
Mm-hmm.
he's like just the support of Israel as a like funding Israel's wars is it's really splitting MAGA apart, because it on the on the one point, because it seems immoral to people, and secondly because
It's not
it's
America
it's not
first.
America first.
Yeah.
And so that the fact that that's actually that's the not the subtext of this event, but it's the context in which the event occurs.
Uh, mm-hmm.
And so that the fact that there is that context, and there is BB claiming Charlie, and there is the the fact that like there's credible reports from people who are close to him that he was going to like turn on Israel,
Mm-hmm.
and that by him dying he could never do that, and then Turning Point USA could continue to be like this Zionist propaganda instrument for young people, who are exactly the people who are most apt to reject it.
Right, and that was something that Netanyahu said needed to be done back many years ago. Said that it's the young people that are looking at TikTok and whatnot
Mm-hmm.
that are endangering Israel the most.
Yeah, so that context, and those Netanyahu and the bullet, it's like now it was that trifecta of things that made me start to wonder.
Yeah, now there's more all the time. You can't. It's like I can't even keep up with you know, the evidence that seems to point to definitely a conspiracy to kill, to assassinate Kirk and
And
to
and if
have a patsy and
right,
everything, and for Israel to be turning point, and Israel to be part of it, and possibly even
right,
Trump.
and I I want to tell my liberal friends, it's like you are missing the good news here. you're, because you've reduced that whole world
Because you
to
hated Charlie Kirk so much,
right, and
you can't see.
you've reduced that whole world to just raving like bigots, that you kind of missing this whole thing that's happening in the country. And but maybe it will come to nothing. I don't know. It's like I like I've listened to Candace Owens much more than I ever have in the last couple
Yeah.
weeks, and she's extremely gifted. And there's like there's also a sort of like she actually reminds me of an ex of mine, um
Mm-hmm.
who was just so sure of herself that she's like I've actually a more topical example. She's like a large language model, when they start to hallucinate. like,
Mm-hmm.
like I was talking
Well,
to
that's it's funny because there's a whole piece on breaking points where they talk about how um, the way Candace Owens is behaving um, is related to um, the way online and AI has us all behaving to a certain degree. We are all Candace Owens. That was like the
Interesting.
we're all prone to like potential um, sort of psychosis because of information.
Information psychosis.
Yeah,
Interesting. Yeah, I that's a very interesting point. Um, it's a very interesting point. I think Candace is doing it. Camlet, I was going to call her Camlet. Candace is doing it. She does it really well. Um, but there's a quality, like, the thing that what she's gotten to, what's super significant to her now, is the fact that there are these two private planes from Egypt that well, there was one that flew over the airfield near to where Charlie was assassinated in Orrin, Utah,
mm-hmm.
and it didn't stop there. It actually descended from its cruising altitude down to a few hundred feet, did a circle around, and then rose, and then went and landed in Montana, and then
Mm-hmm.
did the same thing on the way back. And what the purpose of doing such a thing would be, I have no idea. But
Mm-hmm.
then I guess you can trace the number, the tail number of
Mm-hmm.
all sorts of private planes, and see where they've been back for months and months.
Yeah.
And so, now she's like she thinks she's found this pattern where this plane is present, one of these two planes that are related, that fly from Cairo, uh, which she says are Egyptian intelligence. They've come and they are at a bunch of Turning Point USA events where Charlie is present over the course of a year and a half. And so, and which, it's one of those things where I'm like, I don't, this is like, if this is true, it's like gets into this world of, like, manipulation and handlers and like intelligence agencies, and sort of
Yeah, it's hard to resist. It's hard. It's like I think it's like hard for her to resist any kind of pattern or angle, and that's psychosis. That's information psychosis. I think
uh-huh.
when you can't resist it because it could lead you to something because it's so promising, and
Yes.
you can see it, and she might be right about it. I also think
Bill, could you tilt your screen toward you a little bit, because
yeah, I'm
your
you know what
head,
it is? It's because of my back because I keep moving my.
you're starting
I'm in a
to
chair. I'm in a chair that moves. I got one of these that moves the chair.
you're starting
um,
to you're going away.
yeah. What's that I was gonna say? I forget what I was gonna say. Uh,
You were talking about information psychosis.
yeah. Well, there was some other point in there that I lost. I don't remember. I'll get it back later.
Hmm. So, I because this is
No,
StreamYard.
what I know what I was gonna say. I was
Okay,
gonna
good.
say
Let me.
I
I'll
was
just take the
what it
pre-ramble
is.
off.
Yeah. The oh, we're still in pre-ramble. Oh God, that's the whole night. Well, I came up with the phrase that the grassy knowledge, and
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't sure what it was, but I had a feeling it was the kind of knowledge of like how to be Candace and not go completely insane would be like the like
I see.
like how to look for the patterns, but no, know when to kind of step away or
Yeah, whatever
Yeah,
that would be, that this is
yeah.
something that Robert Anton Wilson referred to as Chapel Perilous
Yeah.
in the Illuminatus trilogy, and outside the Illuminatus trilogy, and just his sort of the view of the world that he developed in writing the Illuminatus trilogy.
Hmm.
That and it is this the that the information, the real level on, so this is basically what the conspiratorial mindset that came and developed in the psychedelic 60s,
Hmm.
that where the psychedelic conspiratorial political mindset ended up was this idea that the level at which the conspiracy actually exists um, will drive you crazy, because it becomes it acts like an obsessive thought, and it's hard to, Chapel Perilous is like the pattern that you're finding is like is like the divine pattern in the world itself. That's why Horatio could talk to the ghost, because the divine pattern ordered everything, and that divine pattern that orders everything is the this fixed idea that you then get trapped by. And like Trump derangement syndrome is this fixed idea which has as people say, broken brains, because it's just trapped people. It has a gravity that you can never get outside of, and so you can't see, like, it has to be this thing is like, oh, it's about kings. It's about Trump is trying to be king, and that's what it's all about. But it's like just the gravity of that idea which makes it central. And 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 the thing is that idea isn't, I don't think that idea is really central. And this is the thing of Chapel Perilous, is that once you enter into that and try to comprehend the level at which reality is actually being woven, you enter into this hyper suggestible state where you could become the prisoner
Uh,
of a fixed idea.
yeah.
And so Candace is in Chapel Perilous.
Right.
Well, with that, you're not going to see this, Bill, but you would see it. You would see it if you were on Facebook.
It's in the name of democracy that we bring to you the High Horseman of the Apocalypse.
Sorry, Bill, I just cast you into the nether regions for a moment
No, no, yeah.
uh, to play the intro. I have no idea. Like,
Nice.
we don't have the timer either, so I just wanted to get that in there. Um,
Hmm.
so that may be like, I had planned to go uh, elsewhere from this. The original thing was going to be called From Kirk to Kings, um, and the the place that I wanted to Halloween that changed it, and the whole notion about the ghost and the
Yeah.
Candace as Hamlet, and Tyler Robinson as the Lee Harvey Oswald, and Erica Kirk as Gertrude. Um, but the place that I wanted to get to, I feel like I've come to perhaps the most important idea uh, I've ever had. Important in terms of politically, politically important, um,
Hmm.
and it might not. I mean, it's central and essential, but it might not be. When I'm saying important, I'm saying like this feels like an idea to me that could be consequential if it were understood. I think a lot of ideas that I have like aren't necessarily consequential and are unlikely to be understood. You have to understand a bunch of other things to make them consequential. But
Hmm.
this seems to me like an idea that is plugs into the existing. It plugs into the existing dynamic of which people are already conscious, and it both plugs into it and reframes it on a fundamental level. And so that's what seems potentially important to me is the
I
fact that
think I know what it is.
I would be shocked.
Well, only because I thought you had said it earlier.
Oh, huh. Well,
So
let me I'll tell you, and you can tell me
okay,
if you knew.
okay.
Um, so it basically I've both of the sort of Christian nationalists and the secularists um have misunderstood the founding of America and what sense it is and is not a Christian nation.
Hmm.
And
This wasn't what I thought you were going to say. So
yeah, I didn't think it was. um, so in essence, when Matt Walsh says America's a Christian nation, he's
hmm.
saying that the people uh, who founded and first like colonized and populated America were Christian, and so it's culturally Christian,
Hmm.
which is true. And
Okay.
sort of the people who are, you know, the sort of Christian nationalists are trying to
They're saying that that's our culture.
right. They're saying that's what it
Christianity
is,
is our culture.
right? And it's true to a significant extent, but it it doesn't take into account nor can it explain the secular uh, nature of the founding and the secular elements in the founding. The fact that, you know, when the Constitution was done and someone said it you forgot that there's no God. You didn't mention God in it in the whole
Hmm.
text of the Constitution. And Alexander Hamilton replied, "We forgot." And which is you know, cheeky, but what he was also serious in a sense, like by saying we forgot, he was saying that like it wasn't part of what we were like it wasn't part of what we were doing. You know, we weren't compelled to remember it at any point. And that fact is incomprehensible from the Christian nationalist side because their notion about the sense in which America is Christian is vague. It's like it's culturally Christian,
Hmm.
and Christianity has these cultural values, and therefore it's Christian. And it's a vague cultural argument, but I think I
It's a hard hill to die on if it's that vague.
well, it's hard to you're not going to convince anyone of that, and the sort of counter argument has the force of like, well, okay, yeah, that's what it used to be that way, but you know, times change.
Yeah,
And
we have Buddhists and Jews and atheists and secularists and all
right,
that.
and they've been Americans for so long. Are you saying they're not Americans? And that's kind of what Matt Walsh ends up kind of getting pushed into this corner, and 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 Tucker Carlson is just sort of like starts ranting about demons, and I, but I think
or just laughing. He's
laughing
got
like a
that laugh.
demon, right? He's either
Yeah, he has got the weird laugh.
ranting about demons or laughing like one, and but I think I've found the specific way connection point between Christianity and secular society. And it was a connection that was made explicit in the figure of Roger Williams and the
Yeah.
founding of Rhode Island. And
Hmm.
what it was, and I have to revisit the book that I couple books I have on Roger Williams to like get clear on what tradition he was coming out of and how he ended up in the Massachusetts Bay Colony. But he comes over as to the Massachusetts Bay Colony pretty early, and he's a preacher, and he gets into this argument with the leaders of the Massachusetts Bay Colony about um, the basically the compulsory belief about compulsory belief and the compulsory confession of certain beliefs. And Williams is of the mind that because salvation itself depends upon those beliefs, um, no earthly power structure should be able to compel a person to falsely confess, because that such a power structure puts the eternal condition of the soul in jeopardy. And so
Hmm.
it was it was it was the
So short circuits it.
well it can damn you to an eternity of
Hmm.
damnation. It can damn you for eternity, and because um, it can damn you for eternity, the the the
I
needs.
mean, because you could state your belief without believing it,
Well, you can
and never get to know what the belief even means because you just know what to say.
right, and so your conscience, your real sort of intimate relationship with God can be perverted by your social performance of obedience.
Hmm.
And because of the eternal judgment that awaits all souls,
Hmm.
that issue is non-negotiable. So the freedom of conscience is an inalienable right, and the state cannot, anyone who would attempt to create a state to compel that is is violating the most
Yeah.
sacred relationship that exists, which is between the individual soul and God. Right? And so that belief becomes that belief be-
Oh,
becomes the foundation for the separation of church and state and secular society. So
right.
it's actually secular society begins in a specific vision of Christianity.
Yeah. It's acknowledging the role of conscience as opposed to obedience
Right.
or obedience of men.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the fun it's actually the foundation of secular society in the American sense is sacred.
Hmm.
It is the necessary liberty of conscience that, because of the eternity of the stakes, balance against the demands of the many.
And so I would say, given the political climate that um, that we've been living under as liberals, and in a lot of cases being pressured to perform beliefs instead of having them, and being forbidden from having your conscience be kind of forbidden you. Um, we've it's like liberal the 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 sacred role of of the secular has kind of been destroyed, and we can't even recognize it.
It has been destroyed, and this is why the sort of the argument between Christianity and secularism in the American context is completely misses what the connection between them is. And it's devolved into the Christian nationalists who have misunderstood and and don't understand why America wasn't just another Christian state of Europe, but was actually something different than Christendom. It wasn't Christendom. It was a secular society based upon a particular view and lineage of Christianity that went through Roger Williams.
Well, the thing I thought you were going to say, that was the super important thing you were going to say,
Mm-hmm.
was that liberalism is dead.
Well, that's old news.
Yes, I thought you were going to say that, but this explains why it's dead.
Yes, this explains why it's dead, because the foundation of
It
the
doesn't
of,
recognize itself.
and it doesn't understand that it's cutting off the by in its attack on Christianity, it's cutting off the limb it's sitting on, right? Because the thing is that the left is divided between those people who know what they're doing and those people who don't know what they're doing, and there's a post-American left tradition which rejects the sanctity of individual conscience, because it's a purely materialist faith in which the individual conscience is just like a potential obstruction for the perfection of
Mm-hmm.
society. It's just like you can't just let these cranks think what they're
Mm-hmm.
going to think, and they don't have a soul to be damned, so there's nothing to worry about, and so they don't
Mm-hmm.
have any foundation, and that is the post American view. And I
Mm-hmm.
think there are many on the left, the real left, who understand that is a post American view, and they don't. Then there's the liberal side who think they're defending America, but they don't realize that they are they are attacking and denying the sacred foundation of America in Christianity, and in this particular sense of the judgment of the soul after death, and the necessity and the sanctity of individual conscience. And and um, so I think there's the people who know that who so thoroughly hate that idea, and they know that they are not defending America, and then there's the people who think they um, can simply hate Christianity to defend America, and I think those latter sort of people are just mistaken. They don't understand. There's the former people have an understanding that they hate America. The other people don't understand it, and then those you could kind of separate people who are pretending not to understand it, from people who really don't understand it. People who really mean well, but they don't understand. Uh, they don't understand that because the sort of the 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 antagonism with Christianity has become so defining. It's so defining, and you can't really look to the Christians to you know f to lessen that antagonism, because the Christians don't really understand in what sense America is truly a Christian nation. That mostly that's not understood. Like Roger Williams is forgotten by, if you weren't born in Rhode Island and you didn't sort of like know that there
Mhm.
was this revered guy named Roger Williams. It's like he's not he's never mentioned as a founder. And he
Mm.
lived 150
Yeah.
years before them, so the sense in
Right.
which he's a founder and and the role of what he founded in Providence um, is not generally understood.
The oldest synagogue in North America is in Rhode Island.
Is it in Newport?
Not sure. I'm not sure where it is.
I think it's in Newport
Huh.
because
Yeah.
Newport was a different settlement than Providence.
Uh huh.
And Providence is just where Roger Williams ended up because eventually he ran into such a conflict with the people who were ruling the Massachusetts Bay and the Salem colonies that they were going to send him back to England, where he was going to be killed
Hmm.
because he was a Puritan, and it was like the English Civil War, and all around the English Civil War, and the Puritans were the enemies of the state.
So send him back to England; he'll get killed.
Yeah, so they don't have to kill him directly, but that's what. And so because he was going to be killed, um, he he fled into a blizzard,
Huh.
and he fled Salem. They were coming to collect him to put him on a ship, and he fled into a blizzard, and he was one of the few colonists who spoke the language of the native tribes and
Hmm.
had good relationships with them, and the native tribes kept him alive through the winter, and then they gave him the land across the what is the Seekonk River? I don't know which river it is that divides East Providence from Providence, but they gave him that land, and that became became Providence, and that was the first colony that was founded upon the separation of church and state.
And named after God and
Right.
provided him by natives.
Well, and I think it establishes the sort of
Yeah.
that is the providential heart of America, and it's from that separation and the sanctity of the individual conscience that all the other rites follow. That secular space itself follows, and all the rites, the sort of sacred heart of those rites, all follow from that. And
Well, this is kind of lovely that our that we come from a place that is so important.
yes, I didn't know.
Rhode Island. I mean, I was not born in Rhode Island, but I'm a Rhode Islander because I was have been there since I was 4 years old, and my parents were from there. So
Were you born in Mass?
no, I was born in New York.
Oh, really? In the
Yeah,
city?
not far from Bard and all that.
Oh,
Yeah, I was born in Kingston, lived in Woodstock.
oh, because your dad was in IBM, and
Yeah, that's
and
right.
IBM
Yep.
was in Kingston.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Yep.
All right, Bill. Well, I have to go.
Yeah, I'm getting tired. It's
All right.
late
This
here.
is this has been fun, and our first uh, uh, High Horseman on this totally open source platform. So I'm sorry it's a little less posh than StreamYard, but I'll figure something
Well,
out.
yeah. So you're gonna play the music?
Yeah, here it comes. You're not going to hear
Okay.
it.
No, but
Okay.
I'll watch it later, maybe.
Okay. I'll see you next time.
All right.
It's feeling like it's just about the time. It's feeling like the sun is just beginning.